Now, you've probably never seen one of these cars on the road before, because this is one of the UK's rarest cars, rarer than even a Bugatti Veyron. What I have here is the 2025 plate Toyota Mirai, a car that literally runs on water. This £65,000 beast from Toyota does not require a charging cable. Instead, you take this car to one of the UK's 16 hydrogen fuel stations, plug it in for a few minutes, and you've got 400 miles range. It's a complete game changer. And the only thing to come out the back of this car? Pure water. And there's even a button inside to eject the water before you pull it into your garage. And if you're spending 65 grand on a Toyota, you probably have a very nice garage. So what can I say about the way the Mirai drives? Well, it might not be or sound much like a compliment, but it's pretty much unexceptional. It's not so fast that it scares you, it's actually fairly average speed. It's like a normal four-door saloon car. And that is what Toyota are trying to achieve with this car in my eyes. They're not trying to excite everyone with the latest performance and the 0 to 60 times of like 2 seconds. What they're trying to do is make this feel like every other car you've ever known. And from an interior point of view, there's tons of space. You don't feel like this car is compromised in some ways like electric cars are. Some electric cars, all the batteries being in the floor, mean you sit very high up, you've got very little legroom, and the whole thing just feels a bit wrong. In this, you can get your seat nice and low, and in the back, there's plenty of legroom. You're not sat with your knees up round your armpits or anything like that. You are actually really comfortable. But the rest of the interior is just fairly, well, average, I suppose. It's put together exceptionally well. It's got all the tech you need: heated, cooled seats, heated steering wheel. It's got all the tech, self-driving, lovely screens, everything's clear. What more can you say? It's a Toyota. It's been put together properly, and you get the feeling that everything will just work, and work pretty much forever. It's just very serene to drive, and I would say that is the overriding thing with this car, just pure serenity. And it's different to a normal EV. A normal EV, you would be looking down at your range. I've driven a lot of EVs, we've done a lot of miles in them, and you do keep an eye on it. Whereas in this, I really haven't. The range has been showing over 300 miles. We've done hundreds of miles today, and it's barely dropping. There's regen on the brakes to put some power back into the battery, but the bulk of your power to the battery comes from the hydrogen, which is compressed at 10,000 PSI. 10,000 PSI! It's absolutely wild. And although a lot of people are going to be jumping into the comments now saying that hydrogen is very dangerous and it's explosive, and if someone rammed you, you just burn in a big massive fireball, you would in a petrol car. Petrol is very explosive, which is why it's good. So the safety concerns I don't really have. Yes, it may be a little bit dangerous, but then so is having an internal combustion with a literal explosion in the engine happening. This car also features something that a lot of EVs are starting to have at the moment, and I don't know what they call it in a Toyota, but in most cars it's called a power to load, meaning you can use the car to power other things. So plug a kettle in, or a toaster, or even your house. That's right, this car develops so much power from its hydrogen fuel cell, it will power the average UK home for a week. Yeah, so if you have a power cut and you've got one of these plugged in outside, it doesn't matter, the car will just power you. And when was the last time you had a power cut that lasted a week? Probably never. The thing I do enjoy about this car more than anything else is the rarity. It's really fun to drive around in a car that you know there are literally 5 times more Bugatti Veyrons on the road than there are these. There is way more chance of pulling up to the lights and seeing 2 Veyrons than there would be just even a single Mirai. It's an extremely rare car, and I really do like that. Get some really good looks on the road, actually. People are looking at it, not quite sure what it is. I wouldn't say it was a stereotypically good-looking car. but it's striking, it's imposing, but it also looks fairly modest. It looks like a luxury four-door saloon from the Japanese car maker, and that is what they've tried to achieve with this, is just making it blend in. It's the ordinary car, but fueled by the future. I've found when driving along, we've taken it on mixed roads, we've taken it on B roads, we've taken it on motorways, we've done all sorts with it today. We've been down some single track roads when we got lost. The suspension on this is so nice and so soft, you can literally feel nothing. You can feel nothing. The roads actually feel like of good quality, which we know in the UK they're not. This thing just irons out everything. And although it may be a little bit wobbly in some of the tight and twisty bends, that's not what you buy one of these for. But on that, who is buying these cars? I mean, no one is really buying them if there's only 84 registered. I know James May has one, but who is buying one, and who is this actually aimed at? I've been thinking about this most of the day, trying to work out why you would choose one. And of the 84 that have sold, who are these people? Because I don't think it's something that makes sense to most people. As I spoke about earlier, there's only 16 hydrogen fuel pumps in the whole of England, or in the whole of the UK. Meaning you can technically get from the south of England all the way up to Scotland. You can do it, but you are very much dictated as to where that pump is. And I think for most people, that's just a huge drawback. For example, where I live, I'd probably have to drive a couple of hours to fill it up. There probably isn't one within 2 hours of my house. I haven't checked, but there probably isn't. So it would be very, very inconvenient to own. Not being able to plug it in at home, which is a huge advantage of an EV. So there are some massive drawbacks. But if you are near a hydrogen fuel station and you have one of these, it's pretty much like having an electric car and all the advantages of one of those. You get to plug it in and it only takes 3 or 4 minutes and you're on your way, just like you always have done with your internal combustion. And it solves that issue that everyone mentions time and time again. Well, what am I going to do for the next half an hour, 2 hours? What am I going to do? You don't need to worry about that. Worry about that with this. You just fill it up like a regular car. And yet you drive around and it feels exactly like any other electric car you've ever driven. So in terms of performance, Toyota have not gone down the same route that Tesla have and fitted it with insane electric motors that develop hundreds of horsepower. They've not done that. They've kept it more low-key, more conventional. It has 184 horsepower and it will do 0 to 60 in around 9 seconds. Top speed, just over 115 miles an hour. Not exceptional on paper, but in the real world, do you need to go any quicker? I don't think you do. And it takes away the point of this car. But it is one thing that I wondered when I first got the keys to this car. I thought, what is it going to drive like? Is it going to drive like an EV? Is it going to feel more like an internal combustion? The truth is, it handles and drives very much like any other EV. It's simply the way that it's powered, and that is using hydrogen. And how that works is hydrogen is put into the car's hydrogen tank at a pressure of 10,000 psi. It's then put into a fuel cell combined with the air from the outside, and it creates a chemical reaction which fills up the battery and also powers the car. So it's got a very small battery in here as well, meaning that when you're on the brakes, it will regen and put power into that as well. But essentially that's all it is. It's a chemical reaction. And it means that the range of over 400 miles is easily achievable without the annoyance of hanging around waiting for the thing to charge. It's its own electricity power plant. So there are some drawbacks to hydrogen. First of all, we know there are not enough filling stations. It will not work for probably about 90% of the population of the UK. The cars are very expensive, they're probably quite complex when they do go wrong. Not that it will go wrong, it's a Toyota, one of the most reliable car manufacturers in the world. The issue comes with the production of hydrogen. It's a very abundant material, but in order to extract it and to house it and to put it into your car, it takes 4 times the amount of electricity than it does to simply charge a car. Meaning, if you were buying one of these to save the world, save the planet, unfortunately, it's not going to work. It's not going to do that. It's way more green, way more efficient to simply plug a car in and drive around with an electric vehicle. And that is the biggest drawback for me, that if you were buying it for those reasons, then it's a waste of time, because it isn't better for the environment. Apart from the fact you don't have to mine loads of cobalt for the batteries. But it doesn't really solve the issue of climate change. But if they can find a way to develop hydrogen using less electricity or renewable ways, then yes, of course, it's the most efficient way to power a car. And with water being the only thing that comes out the back of it, yeah, it is potentially the future. They just need to get that sorted out. This car filters the air, so the air that it leaves behind is actually cleaner than the one it drove into. So it's actually making the world a better place by simply driving it. This is a very, very clever car. And I can't really understand why more manufacturers haven't taken it up and started to do hydrogen versus electric. Because the reason why so many electric chargers have popped up everywhere is because there's more demand for it. If more people bought these and more manufacturers made them, then maybe there would be a push to make more hydrogen filling stations too. But I think the main cause of that is the research and development that goes into a car like this. Toyota is one of the richest and biggest car companies in the world, and the money they have spent on this is astronomical to get this to market. Whereas some of the other car companies, from China for example, can churn out electric cars for nothing, or next to nothing. It's very, very simple technology, very cheap to produce, and it just levels the playing field. For a Chinese company to come out with a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle would be a completely different ask. But I am surprised that some of the big German car companies haven't gone down this route either. Why have Porsche not thought of doing this? It just makes sense in so many ways, for so many different cars. Imagine a fuel cell Range Rover, for example. A Range Rover that can achieve more than 30 miles per gallon. They'd sell hundreds of them, hundreds of thousands of them. I just don't understand why they don't just focus their efforts more on this rather than electric. Before getting into this car today, I was very much on the fence. I've heard a lot of negativity around hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, a lot of negativity around electric, but there's also a lot of negativity around internal combustion. People want us out of them, and they want us into an alternative fuel vehicle. And for me, electric just doesn't work. I've said in a lot of videos that I really enjoy the cars, and that's true. But we're looking to replace our Golf, and the last thing I'm looking at is an EV. Because I don't believe in the future of EV 100%. There's part of me saying that this is not the future, and you're going to buy into something that's going to be redundant in the next 5 to 10 years. Driving this and thinking more about the hydrogen and the way that it's developed and the way this thing works makes me feel that I am currently driving the future, but no one realizes it. The thing that gets me with the Toyota Mirai is the fact that it looks like a regular 4-door luxury saloon car. It drives like a Golf, and it's powered by something you can't even see. But while the rest of the industry is faffing around trying to make electric cars work, Toyota is quietly going about its business with the Mirai, proving that the future doesn't have to include a charging cable.